says, you can move up a little bit. My audience is pretty aware of all this New World Order kind of stuff. And then Jordan Maxwell launches into the Son is really Jesus spiel, and he goes through the whole thing. And as he's going through it, Bill Cooper, who has been talking about this and saying this is what the mystery schools believe for the whole series, stops Jordan Maxwell and says, hey, this, you should pretty much say this is just symbolism, right? This is just what they believe. And Jordan Maxwell, having been caught in this whole thing, says, oh, yeah, it's just symbolism. It's just symbolism, just like you say, Bill. But this constitutes the only time that I've ever heard Jordan Maxwell admit that. So it's interesting to me that it happened on the Bill Cooper program. And here we go.
Simply because I want to devote the maximum amount of time to our special guest tonight, Mr. Jordan Maxwell. Now, I never met Jordan Maxwell in my life until today. I don't really know him personally. I have been introduced to him circuitously through a bevy of my own personal friends, whom after listening to my lectures, after reading my book, realized that Mr. Jordan Maxwell and I have quite a bit in common. And they prompted me, pushed me, you might say, to meet with this gentleman.
Pentagon.
Yeah, they don't pay these people big money to make mistakes. The president, when he does something, or this government does something, they know what they're doing. Now, it may not make any sense to you, but according to other plans, if you understand what's going on behind the scenes, it makes a lot of sense. And
let me interject something in here for you, Jordan, so that you'll understand. My listening audience has had 22 hours already. Their education is far beyond anybody that you normally talk to.
Right.
They understand what we're talking about. They understand the involvement of the Vatican. They understand the symbology of the mystery schools.
Right.
Now, we may have some listening audience out there who just tuned into this show or maybe just found it a couple of shows ago, but most of my listening audience worldwide have been listening to this show since the 4th of May, 1992, and have an extensive education into all of this. So if you want to cut to the meat of the matter, these people will understand. You don't have to build up to it.
Right. Well, I mean, I talk to audiences so often, and it was still in the same degree on the sundial. It didn't move. So they said, the ancient Egyptians said, anything that was moving and is now not moving is dead. So therefore they said God's son died and was in his tomb or dead for 3 days. Then on December 25th, anything that was dead and in his grave and not moving for 3 days and now begins to move back to the northern hemisphere, it moved its first degree, so on December 25th, they said God's son is born on December 25th.
Now, in the real world, let's clarify something for a lot of people who are listening out there. You're not talking anything about Christmas. You're not talking about what Christians traditionally recognize as,
I'm getting
as the birth of Christ. You're getting into the symbolism of the ancient religion of the Son, which was later perverted in Christianity to reflect this in order to capture the pagan worshipers into the Christian church.
Absolutely.
So let me challenge you guys to find me any other place where Jordan Maxwell stops himself in the middle of this whole, the Son. So if you listen to this interview, notice that when Bill Cooper says that, and although Maxwell's like, oh yeah, of course, notice Jordan stops talking about it then. They launch into corporate symbolism or what have you after that, but they don't talk anymore about what the Son really is or what it really means, because they're on the opposite sides of the fence there.
From all these different philosophers who visited Egypt, we shall secure a better estimation of the profundity of Egyptian learning than from even the Egyptian writings themselves. Plato went to Egypt and was initiated into the mysteries in the Great Pyramid, where he lay for 3 days and 3 nights in the sarcophagus, during which he was imparted knowledge which he was to guard, protect.
I laid in the king's sarcophagus and was blessed in a ritual by a Chemite priest.
I firmly believe, and I live my life according to this, that I owe my first allegiance to my God and Jesus Christ. My second allegiance I owe to the Constitution of the United States of America, and my third allegiance to my family. And the reason my allegiance is that in that order is because God endowed man with unalienable rights. The Constitution protects those rights, and the family is thus able to survive and be protected and thrive. And the family is the basic unit of civilization. period. And I further believe that any man or woman without principles that they are ready and willing to die for at any given moment that they are called upon to do it are already dead and are of no use or consequence to anyone, not even themselves. Understand what I just